Today I'm going to talk about twin flames and the ego death because this is something we hear so many times, not just related to twin flames, and we imagine that it's like whatever we are, we erase it and we become nothing. But in fact, it means something very, very different. And this is what I am going to explain in this video. And at the end, I'm also going to explain how you can have a Kundalini awakening with this concept. So a twin flame is going to trigger this emotional part, the body part within you, because the body has deeper, first of all, deeper brain waves. These are your attachments, and the attachments are coming from your childhood. So when you were growing up, like this is how the brain waves are increasing. They show it in brain scans as well when they put it on little children, that the lower brain waves are very active while the higher brain waves are not as active, not as engaged. And it shows that really this part is what the inner child is. And when you meet your twin flame, you attract your own opposite, and your own opposite is going to be able to trigger these really old childhood wounds up. And it doesn't mean that other people cannot trigger it. So anyone who can make you emotional, anyone who can create chemistry within you is going to be helpful, because they all trigger this part, because this is triggered with opposites and differences. But the big difference with the twin flame is going to be that the twin flame is going to be your exact opposite. So whatever you are, whatever is the dominant part within you, whatever is up, whatever you agree with, that this is me, this is your ego, there is an opposition of that as well, because reality works in opposites, reality works in paradoxes, and you have your opposite within you as well. That's how you create wholeness. So, and actually wholeness is nothingness at the same time. So everything exists and nothing at the same time. And your twin flame is going to be the exact representation, whatever is down here but outside of you, as an alive person. And your twin flame is basically acts like an agent without knowing, like we don't know what's really going on, to trigger these wounds again. So you become more flexible. That's why you feel a lot of energy, because these old parts get triggered. They become plastic, neuroplasticity. So you can change, you can reintegrate them, because these things are coming up. It's very common that you will see things within yourself that you haven't seen before, things that you actually really don't like, and you don't want to accept them. And maybe you question yourself, is it me? And that is actually your ego death, because all of these things that you haven't seen, you rejected within yourself, you repressed within yourself, are actually there, and now they are coming up into the surface. So basically your self-belief, that's your ego, all those good things that you accepted because we want to see ourselves as good, they make you question yourself, that maybe you were wrong. And this is what can happen, because it can go two ways, that a twin flame connection can um trigger you, but if you reject those parts back, nothing is going to happen, and your twin flame connection is going to be basically a waste of time, because you don't heal, you just become who you were. And the other version is that all of these things are coming up and you start to look at them differently, because you have to understand that the way you look at them, it's this self-belief that is coming from your head, that you have made as a child, on your own, and also by parents and society. And now you get a second chance to see it again, because these are those parts that you couldn't accept. And now you get a second chance to accept them. Because ego death doesn't mean that whatever you are is going to disappear and this is how you are going to be nothing. Ego death means that you add more and more and more and more, and this is how you become whole. And if you really think of that, if you add more and more and more, this part of you is going to disappear in a sense, but in a way that it's going to be integrated as a part of something bigger, a part of a wholeness. So the ego doesn't die, the ego becomes bigger, the ego becomes wholer. And ego really means is when we use it that you are rigid in one belief and you reject other things from other people as well, because whatever you cannot see within you, you won't accept truly in others either. And this way, when you become wholeness, you will be able to see and understand and accept not only yourself, but others as well. And this is what your twin flame connection helps you to do. And they also trigger you in a way that you are going to behave differently, that maybe you were chasing people, maybe you were chasing love so much, or maybe you were running away from love so much, and you change, you switch into your opposite, that now you can be in the middle, that you stop running away from your own inner emotions, and your opposite is you stop being too overly focused on the other person, because you have to be in the middle, you have to be both of them. And this is also what your twin flame connection can do. And with lots of inner work, this is what happened to me, that I switched and became my own opposite. So not only mentally I changed, but also in the physical part. And the physical part has the nervous system, and the nervous system has these deeper energies. So I embodied the runner for a very long time, but then with my second twin flame connection, I embodied the chaser. So I had this oneness already within me because I had these two parts, but they were not integrated. And it made the twin flame connection even more intense because I could feel these energies. And if people say, but you can only have one twin flame, I'm going to say, as usual, that if you are the runner, you are going to attract your opposite, which is the chaser. But as soon as you change, so you become your own twin flame within, you change and you become the chaser, you won't attract a chaser anymore, because a chaser is not going to be your opposite. A runner is going to be your opposite. So you are going to attract a completely different person unless the original person changes as well. So if your opposite changes into your opposite and you both switch, that's when you can stay with the same person. But if the other person doesn't change, you outgrow the person, then you will feel attracted to another person, because that other person has to be your opposite. And when you are able to see that these two parts are actually broken apart from one core wound, and what that core wound is, and this twin flame outside of you just represents these repressed parts, that are self-protecting mechanisms, what you see, that comes up as abuse, and you are able to see them, that they are exactly the same, and you are able to make patterns and connections. So you get out of your body and get into your head and see these two, how they are the same, how they actually just an expression of the same thing. That's when you can have a Kundalini awakening. See you in my next video.